The only way you're going to stop speaking so negatively about yourself is when you decide to love yourself by accepting yourself and supporting yourself and being there for yourself completely. Welcome or welcome back. It's your favorite mental health specialist, Ty Guidance, and that is what we're going to talk about in today's video. Now, of course, because there's no right or wrong way to heal yourself, only and always take what resonates and leave the rest, as well as grab your pen and your paper and be prepared to take notes. In this video, we're going to go over 5 recommendations on why it's so imperative to be gentle to yourself, to show up for yourself, and most importantly, 5 things to be mindful of when you decide to not be so hard on yourself and to stop beating yourself up. The first thing that you have to be mindful of, the first disclaimer is that you are a human, which means you have emotions. In order for you to stop being so hard on yourself, you have to accept the fact that your feelings are valid. In order for you to validate your emotions and your feelings, you have to acknowledge that you are allowed to feel. This doesn't make you weak. That you being vulnerable doesn't mean that you're a pushover, or that you're naive, or that you're a people pleaser, or you take any and everything. No, you being vulnerable, you validating your emotions means you have feelings. And that when certain people do and say certain things, it affects you. You can't pretend to be nonchalant when you know you care. It's not healthy for you, and you do yourself a disservice. So the second thing you have to do when you realize that you have feelings and that you care is to validate those things, such as articulating yourself, learning to express yourself, whether it's to yourself or to people and places and things. Communication is important, and there's no one size way to communicate. So learning to be patient with yourself when you're communicating and with others. And if people and places and things are not willing to be patient, or not willing to respect your feelings and your emotions, you don't need to be around these certain people, places, and things, and it's not for you. The third thing you also have to practice when you're learning to be gentle to yourself is that if you are never taught and shown how to give yourself grace, and everyone made fun of you, or you were bullied emotionally, mentally, physically, financially, right? You treating yourself the same way those people did, or from not having and having lack, isn't going to help you. So just because people yelled and screamed at you doesn't mean that you have to continue to yell and scream at yourself. Just because you were never taught and shown how to support yourself or how to validate your emotions doesn't mean that you have to stay there. So you have to let go of any limitations that you've experienced previously. But in order for you to do that, you have to realize that your feelings are hurt, that you are sad, that you are mad, that you are angry, and that it is okay. Why? Because once again, you're a human. We're not meant to be cold-hearted and robotic, but unfortunately, until people learn how to deal with their emotions and communicate and heal and become better, we're going to hurt other people, hurt people, whether it's right or wrong, whether it was taught or not. You're only meant to be responsible for yourself. So now, the 5 recommendations. In order for you, number 1, to continue to not beat yourself up, you have to realize why you are talking to yourself in the way that you do. So if you're hard on yourself about something, I need to know why. You need to know why. So your homework assignment is to challenge yourself and to figure out your root, the source. Why do you beat yourself up over this example or this thing? Why are you so hard on yourself? Why do you talk badly about yourself? Why do you think so low of yourself? And if you're new here, we have homework assignments where we challenge you guys, and you have to Do the homework assignment by commenting in the comment section right now, currently in this video, as this video is going on, or in the next one, or whenever you get the chance, or on your sheet of paper, because we're here to motivate, educate, inform, and to hold you accountable. But you need to figure out why you're being so hard on yourself. We go to the root, we go to the source, because that's how you solve problems. Very direct. So if you're not ready to be honest and vulnerable, this video is not for you. So send it and share it to somebody who is, but I know it is because you're here watching it. You got to be intentional. But all jokes aside, in all seriousness, why are you so hard on yourself? Why do you feel like you have to beat yourself up? The second thing you have to do in order for you to stop speaking so negatively about yourself once you answer that first question is to realize, how does that make you feel? Once you figure out why you are so hard on yourself, you need to realize, how is this making you feel? How is this affecting you psychologically, emotionally, physically, financially, subconsciously, etc.? The reason why is because in order for you to stop doing this, once again, you need to know where it started from, where it stems from, and how it's making you feel. So then you can come up with solutions or realize that you can handle things in a different way, or that you don't have to react and respond or approach situations about yourself in this manner. The third thing you have to do as you're learning to not beat yourself up is allow yourself grace. Once again, if you were taught and shown to be insecure and not to be confident, you didn't have friends, you didn't have family, you didn't have support, or people bullied you and you're used to dealing with narcissists and trauma and just anything that's low vibrational, you have to realize unlearning that and impacting that requires a lot of energy, it requires a lot of effort, and most importantly, it requires you. There is no right or wrong way or one size to learn how to be gentle to yourself or to love yourself or to support yourself. So you don't have to rush, and you can't put a timeline on how that's going to show up in your life, especially when you're starting from scratch or you're starting whenever you're watching this. So the third or fourth thing, let me know what number I'm on because I lost count. Once you do that, is to then now realize what you can do instead of beating yourself up. So what solutions, what substitutions, what can you do differently? When you allow yourself grace, you realize, okay, just because I did this and I wasn't too proud of myself doesn't mean I have to react or respond this way. Or just because somebody said something about me doesn't mean I have to come into an agreement, or that I have to believe it, or that I have to let it live rent-free in my mind. With that, the fifth thing, or let me know, like I said, what number I'm on, after that is allowing yourself to grieve. And this is similar to the third or the fourth step, which is giving yourself grace. At this point, just make sure you're following, or let me know. You have to allow yourself to grieve. When you are letting go of old ways and old ways of thinking and behaviors and patterns, and like I said, talking to yourself, even looking at yourself a certain type of way, you have to realize you went through a lot. And I'm not here to invalidate your experience. I'm speaking from experience. Learning to be gentle to yourself requires you to realize that you weren't always taught and shown love and support and confidence, and that it's okay for you to figure that out and understand what that looks like to you. And as you're growing, as you're evolving, making sure that moving forward, when you learn to talk nicely to yourself, everybody else around you has to be on the same page. If not, you don't need to be around them. Just because you experienced certain things in your past doesn't mean that you have to stay there and that you have to be stuck there and that you can't become better or that you can't learn to embrace yourself. But until you take the time to realize that you don't deserve to talk to yourself that way, and nobody deserves to talk to you that way, you're constantly going to beat yourself up. You're constantly going to accept the bare minimum. And you have to realize too, the only people who want you to accept the bare minimum are people who are obviously not good people. So it's just like everybody in the world doesn't have to do certain things to you when you don't allow it to yourself, and they won't. Everyone does not deserve access to you. Everyone does not deserve to get close to you if they have not acknowledged what it is about yourself that you have, like certain boundaries, or they're not able to respect them. Learning to be gentler to yourself requires you to make peace with the version of you that you suppressed. Over here on this account, you have to be vulnerable. You can't be afraid to be judged or shamed, right? Because at the end of the day, you're the only person who is suffering because you're not being gentler to yourself. You're the only person who is beating yourself up. It doesn't matter what everybody else is doing. People are going to say things, right? You don't always agree with them. It doesn't matter. It only matters what other people say and do when you don't matter what you say and do about yourself. Learning to speak life into you requires a lot of energy and a lot of effort. So most importantly, as you're learning, sorry if you guys hear that squeaking and creaking in the background. Most importantly, as you learn to stop being so hard on yourself, I want you to start paying attention to things that you know about yourself that brings you peace. So that's your other homework assignment. You guys have 2 homework assignments. I want you to start surrounding yourself with people, places, and things who pour into you, who love you, who appreciate you, who see you, who hear you, who allow you to be you. And I want you to start focusing on the things that bring you life, that make you feel good at, because you're not a horrible person. You may lack, right, in certain areas. We all do. We can all improve ourselves. But there are some things about you that you're great at and that you're allowed to be great at. Let me know some things that you like about yourself, you love about yourself. It's not self-centered. You're not egotistical for putting yourself first or thinking highly of yourself. That's what you're supposed to do. This is your life. And anybody, once again, who wants to be a part of that has to respect it. If not, they're not for you. Why should you beat yourself up when people already try to make things harder for you in life or just make things hard in general? There are some things that you're good at. Focus on that. But when you take the time to speak gentler to yourself, you got to correct yourself. You got to hold yourself accountable. If nobody else is going to hold your hand, you got to hold your hand. If you do something and you mess up, okay, validate how you feel. In the moment, I made a mistake. I wasn't too proud, right? Express yourself. And because of that, I had to learn from it. Talk about how you feel, so therefore you don't have to bottle it up. You don't have to suppress it, and you don't take it out on others, or you don't allow people to talk to you. So if people bullied you or said certain things and previously you didn't speak up or you didn't remove yourself, talk about that. Talk about how that made you feel. Understand where that even started from. Then you can come up with solutions. So therefore, moving forward, you let people know, I don't appreciate you talking to me like this. I didn't like this. I don't like that. If they don't have the emotional capacity, leave it alone. But if they do, they'll work on it. So I just want you to continue to be mindful and realize that you have to practice and that this takes time. But learning to support yourself, once you do, nobody can tell you nothing about yourself. And when you learn how to love yourself, when you learn how to support yourself, when you learn how to give yourself grace, the same way you give everybody else grace and the same grace that people want in return, you're not going to be hard on yourself. You're not going to be constantly doubting yourself and worrying. You're going to be so confident. And that's the goal. That's what we teach over here. We don't fake it until we make it. We have real confidence, and confidence is built within. So thank you guys for watching this video all the way to the end. Thank you for liking and commenting and subscribing and turning on your post notifications and follow me on all my social media platforms. All the information is down in the description box below, as well as booking your service and your session. Once again, at TyGuidance.com. And if you weren't able to book your service in your session and you have a question, DM me on Instagram and follow me on TikTok. I also answer you guys' questions and concerns. And once again, your homework assignment is to figure out why you're being so hard on yourself, right? Where does this stem from? How it makes you feel? And what can you do moving forward to not be so hard on yourself? And focus on the things that you like and love about yourself, and removing anything and everybody that's not in alignment of you supporting yourself. And most importantly, I want you to create affirmations. So you have 3 homework assignments. These affirmations are part of reassurance when you put in the work. When you take the time to grieve, when you take the time to journal, when you take the time to book a service and a session with me, when you seek therapy, when you separate yourself, when you go to God, ancestors, universe, Allah, Buddha, whatever it is that you believe in, when you start to practice and implement these things, you will realize how it's affecting you. And once you realize that you have to practice in the beginning, you may feel, uncomfortable when you're going through withdrawals. Have affirmations to reassure you. So therefore, once again, something happens, instead of being, oh my gosh, I'm a horrible person, or I hate myself, or saying names or whatever it is, you could be like, you know what? I'm going to reassure myself in this moment by affirming that it's okay that I made a certain choice. I can learn from it, or whatever it is moving forward. Thanks for watching. Peace.